Welcome to the No Filter, No Apologies podcast with Rebecca Sachs and Katie Shapiro.
Hello, all, and welcome back to another episode of No Filter, No Apologies podcast. Today, we're going to talk about something that we typically only talk about in group chats, rarely in public.
Not the group chat.
But as you navigate life, it is an absolute necessity to talk about your high impact friendships, high impact female friendships.
Yes.
And so we are also honoring National Girl Me Too Day, which is April 7th. And it was a day that was created by Simonia Montgomery. And it isn't about wallowing in the struggles. It's really about when you're talking to someone and you can say that, oh, girl, me too moment. And really being able to empower and build your, I always say tribe, build your tribe into a bigger environment.
Yes.
Right?
I think it's important to talk about the necessity of female friendships.
Yeah.
Especially, I was a tomboy growing up, so I had more guy friends than girlfriends for a very long time. And then the girlfriends that I did create, actually back up. I had a pretty big family, so I have a sister and I had a lot of girl cousins and things like that. So I had a community of friends that were family, but then my girlfriend group was very, very small.
Yeah.
And as I've gotten older, that friend group, I still keep my circle small, but it's definitely expanded. And I think it was so important to have female friendships. It's just a completely different experience.
Absolutely. And growing up, I always had, my closest friends were always guys. I never really had the traditional best friend, right? Like I had a really close friend that she didn't go to my school. We went to church together. We grew up together. And then when we kind of went to college, we went our separate ways. We've reconnected over the years, but obviously not as close as we used to be. So yeah, I always had a lot more male friends than female friends. And even today I have a lot of guy friends, but I do have a small group of female friends too. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think having girlfriends is hard too, because we all have so much going on. So to find time for friendships, to be a good friend is really hard. But you need those women in your life, like you said, to say, girl, me too.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness, I didn't realize you were going through that too.
Yeah.
Or, have those unfiltered conversations. We just did that episode on periods, pregnancy, and perimenopause.
Right.
But to be able to have those, or to talk about your marriage, or to talk about your job, or to talk about things that are going on, it's just huge to be able to have your girls on your side.
Absolutely. And I think and I know for me personally, right, just navigating life in general, once I turned 30, I started to look at all the relationships in my life very differently and realized that there's no place for toxicity.
Yes.
And I started to really adjust how I interacted with people and who I kept in my circle. Because I didn't want to deal with the bullshit. I just wanted people that were going to be good to me as I'm good to them. And that's it, right? And yes, every relationship is work, but some are easier than others. And, I found myself not wanting to be the one friend that's there for everybody, but it's not always reciprocated and then made to feel bad if I do something with another friend.
Right. Well, I think you're talking about, there are 3 pillars of friendship, right? And I'm going to refer a little bit. It was symmetry.
Yeah.
So that's the reciprocity that you're talking about. Then it was support, and then secrecy. Yeah. Because you have to have that too. So you're talking about the reciprocity piece bigger.
Yeah. Because I've always had like a 1 or 2 close friends, right? That, I've been there for, always there to support their children and, holidays, get to spend time with, all the things. But as I got older, I started realizing that, I was always there for them, but they didn't show up for me in the same way. And so it started to get to a point where I just said, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I'm exhausted from trying to deal with your crazy and my crazy, but you don't want to deal with my crazy. So
how long did that take though for you to realize that maybe that friendship wasn't the right one for you?
It was probably about a year that I really decided, because there was a time period that we didn't talk for 5 months. and then came back together, hung out, like nothing ever happened. And then there was just a lot of toxicity. That's really the only word I can say, because I feel like she just would dump things on me and was going through her own mental health issues. And that's fine. I'm here to support you in any way I can. But there was also a lot of commitments made and promises to show up to different things and events, and then she would never show up.
Right.
But if I ever did that, oh my God, hell would freeze over.
Okay.
And I would get yelled at or ignored. And it was double standard.
Okay. So I think it's healthy for our audience to audit your friendships sometimes. But also, I want to put a word of caution out there, because I was thinking about this as we were preparing for this episode. I think in today's society, sometimes people are just very quick to cut people off.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's valid, and I totally encourage that. And I am I will take scissors to something very, very quickly. I have no problem with that. But I will also, for the people who have shown me that they have been in my corner, I will hold on to them through difficult times. And I think it's important to do an audit of your friendship, because Rebecca and I were just chatting. When you talk about energy vampires or friends that you pour into, but they're not pouring back into you. There was a moment in our friendship after the loss of my mom where you were pouring into me, as was another really close friend of mine, pouring for months. I was not pouring back into you because I couldn't.
Right.
And I think then there was a moment where I realized, okay, I have to step back into life in a different way, and I have to be a better friend. But you were very patient with me during that. You didn't expect me, and neither did my best friend in the world. She was pouring into me and never expected me to give anything back during that time. And so I think it's important to audit where you are, where your friends are, and where your friendship has been before you take the scissors. And if at the end of that audit, you can say, this is a period of time. My friend was going through a really dark mental health period, and I was supporting her through it. But outside of that, she's always been there for me. Or no, this is another moment in time where I'm continuing to pour into my friend, and she's not there for me when I need her. And so be really honest with yourself about the audit of your friendships to make sure that you have those impactful friendships in your life.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there was a lot of other factors that played in there. One of the bigger factors was there was a lot of lies that were being communicated about me and things that I didn't do. It was very bizarre. And when these things were brought to my attention, I was very confused. And that was kind of like the nail in the coffin, if you will, right? Like that was the final thing. And I was like, all right, I'm done. I don't need this chaos. And you say energy vampires. I always used to say fun vacs, like fun vacuums. They suck the fun out of the room. And this person,
that's awesome.
And this person would do that all the time and like just suck the energy out of the room. And part of it was being center of attention. And I think that was validation for her.
Okay.
And that I get that, right? But it's like, if I just wanted to hang out and chill with my friends, I couldn't, because everything had to be centered around her, and there'd be no additional conversations. So that was and listen, we were close for 13 years. So it's not like it wasn't
a short friendship.
Right. It wasn't a short friendship.
But I think also the telltale sign of a healthy friendship is being able to have those difficult conversations where you're like, hey, I'm not getting enough out of this friendship, and this is what I need from you in our friendship. And having somebody take an opportunity to go, oh, I didn't realize I was doing that. Or it's funny, I just recently spoke to someone who was going through a friendship challenge, and she was the one who sort of messed up, and she knew it. And it was because she was going through something.
Yeah.
And this friendship was really important to her. And that was something I said to her, like, is this friendship really important to you? And she said, yes. I said, then you need to just fall on your sword and be vulnerable and accept that she has a right to be angry with you. But if you value this friendship and you want it to get better and you don't want to lose it, then go have the difficult conversation, accept the consequences, and try to move forward together. And I'm very happy to say for both of them that they have. And they're back to being close again. But it's okay to have those moments. We're not perfect. And when you have a 13-year friendship, I think my best friend in the world will be, I can't even, it's like almost 30 years that we've been friends.
You can't have Katie math.
That long, I can't. Don't put my Katie math, but it's over 25 years now. When you're friends with people for that long, you and I have been 13 years.
Yeah.
You're going to have peaks and valleys of friendship.
Absolutely.
and navigating that. And so you definitely have to do that audit of what kind of friend has this person been to me, and can we have this kind of conversation to work together. And then sometimes it is okay to cut someone off if it's a story like yours. Or I had one that was even just simpler, where I was really close with someone, and I loved, to this day, I haven't spoken to her in years, but she was a beautiful person inside and out, wonderful to be around. But at the time, even though we were both the same age, I was married with 3 little kids and she was single. And so she was upset with me because she said, we go to happy hours and you're always declining. You never come out and you don't put as much into the friendship as me. And I was like, I can't do this. I have 3 kids at home and a husband. You're going to a happy hour. I have 3 kids that need, and they were little, like help with homework and bath time and story time and everything else. And we're just at different places in our lives. So I'm going to cut this friendship off. And I wish you the best. And I meant that. I mean that to today. I just couldn't maintain that friendship in the way she needed me to. And I wasn't interested in that either. I didn't want a friend who was pressuring me.
No, and I agree. I think over the years, and it's like I said, especially since after I turned 30, I have friends that I went to college with that I don't talk to on a regular basis, but very close. And one lives on the west coast of Florida. I think I see her once every 3 years, right? But when we connect, we pick up like nothing's ever happened. But I also think the older you get, the more you realize like life just happens.
Yes.
And so you have to be okay with not talking to someone for a little bit and then being able to pick up right where you left off.
Yes.
Because like getting defensive or trying to make me feel guilty because I hung out with another friend on another weekend is not the way to do it. Right? Have a conversation with me and say, well, if you were able to do this, why couldn't you do this? But that was never the conversation. The conversation was like, oh, well, you can go and do this with these people, but you can't come and do that. You never asked me to. Like, don't get mad at me because you didn't ask the things. You have to say things. I'm not a mind reader.
Yeah, but also that's weird to me. I'm just gonna. It's very weird to me.
It's very petty and childish.
It isn't. But let me say this, and I see really funny like memes sometimes where like when my best friend calls somebody else their best friend, and you're like they're peeking. I get that. My closest friend in the world, who I said over 30 years. She has somebody she's been best friends with since they were very little, longer than me. I'm so happy that they have that friendship. Like, and I know her other friend and I know of her and I have a decent relationship with her, but I don't speak to her. I'm not in touch with her. I am so happy that my friend has another friend like that in her life that is a ride or die and so it's weird to me when there's
jealousy.
It's just weird to me because I'm like, oh, we both love this person.
Right.
Awesome. Like my person has a person who loves them. Like, I just love that. So I think if you're the person who is jealous when friends, I think you need to look in the mirror on that one. I'm going to be a little harsher about that. I find it strange unless the reciprocity isn't there. I mean, I understand there's some instances where maybe if you see them constantly showing up for someone and never showing up for you, that's different than what I'm talking about. But I do think it's weird when you're jealous of your friends' other friendships, because wouldn't you want them
and then
to have that?
And you've had all the opportunity in the world to show up and come and spend time with me, but choose not to. Say you're going to, don't show up, and then get mad. Like, you have no right at that point.
Right.
Like if you show up, okay, great. And then I don't show up on you for you, I understand why there would be anger or jealousy, but that was never the case.
So I think as we kind of wrap up that one segment of symmetry in a friendship, it's really doing an audit. Is the reciprocity there for you? Are you reciprocating in your friendship the way that you should? And if you can't for a period in time, are you talking about it? Or if you're the friend who's been giving more and receiving less, are you talking about it? Because that's what really shows that you care. And those are the like girl me too moments. Like, having a moment because my friend isn't, pouring back into me or whatever it might be. So get on the phone, go out to brunch, have the conversation, and make sure that the symmetry is there in your friendship. What's the second pillar, Rebecca?
It is support. Sorry. Support. I mean, I said tribe, but people always say you need a village, right? It takes a village. And they say that for raising children, which it does. But if you think about, you're constantly growing your entire life. So you need a village constantly around you to help support you in your growth and your journey as well.
Yes. But I think support looks different in a female friendship, to be honest, because it's one thing to have cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Cheerleaders are great. We all need them. The people who show up, the people who support you, clap for you, put your name out there on social media or in your comments, etc.
Yeah.
But I think beyond the cheerleader, you need to have advocates for you too.
Yeah.
The support looks differently. And you and I talk a lot about career. So there's career advocacy, which is, you want women in your circle who are putting your name out there in rooms you're never entering.
Right.
You want women in your circle who don't need to be asked to promote the product that you're selling because they know you and they believe in you so much that they're going to do that connection regardless. That's advocacy in your friendship. And then if we don't want to talk about even just a professional, I'm really giving my best friend a lot of shout outs here, but she's the kind of person when something was going down, maybe I didn't even know it yet, she was already addressing it aggressively. She was not going to allow anyone to talk poorly about me or my family or anything. She already jumped in and I didn't even know the situation was happening yet. And those are the kind, and she's been doing that since we were younger, and I would do that for her. But those are advocates, right?
Yeah.
Those are people that you really need in your corner because you have a blind spot. You don't know if something's going on, and they're out there advocating for you to protect you and also to get your
ready to fight
name
people
out there.
Taking her hoops off and everything.
But also putting your name out there in rooms. I know you and I have had a lot of that because we connected initially professionally, parents. Oh, I might not have talked to you in a week. That doesn't happen now, but I would be like, oh, you know who you need to talk to? I know Rebecca. Let me connect you with her. I think about that a lot with women. We were at a book club meeting recently, and two of us there have a mutual friend, and we just happened to mention her because her business related to another woman's business, and it's
funny.
Our friend couldn't make it that night, but that's what you do. Those are the kinds of women you need in your circle, the advocates for you when you're not there, when you didn't ask them for anything. So look at your friendships, I think, in that way too.
Yeah. I mean, they say it in business about, when you're not in a room, make sure that they talk about you in a positive light. Like if you're not there to defend yourself, make sure you have somebody who can represent you and advocate for you. But I think it rings true for your personal life too.
It doesn't. I will tell you, I'm a pretty intuitive person. And I think when you're out, whether you're at networking events or you're with your kids at events, I take notice of the people, not just women, who sit near me and gossip about other people. And I'm always really, once you do that in front of me, it's hard to come back because I think, I don't know you. And I just watched you sit at this table with 6 other women. And when 2 of them got up, you all talked about the 2 that got up. But when they were here, I thought you all were lifelong friends. And then another woman came down and then you talked about someone else. And I'm like, you're all in the same circle, all talking about each other. And there's a difference between venting and I think talking about someone. I always tell even my kids, I'm like, you can vent to each other about me, but at some point you're going to need to come to me and tell me if there's something, you're frustrated with or whatever. But if you vent, then go talk to the person too. If you came to me and vented to me about your friend, like, I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm going to give you advice. I don't take that personally. I don't think you're bashing her. As long as you then go address it with her and say, okay, I had to work through my thoughts, my feelings, whatever. But I think sometimes if you're the kind of woman who sits down at a table and is talking about everybody, it's going to be hard to have genuine friendships because if you're talking about everybody there, you're probably going to talk about me too.
Talking about everybody behind their back in general, but also I feel like with people who do that, they don't like how they are, right? So they have to talk negatively about everyone else
to make themselves feel better.
And with this Girl Me Too Day, it's all about, bringing women along, empowering women, and supporting one another. And so I struggle now, more now than I did in my 20s, just about some of the stuff and interactions that I see among women, right? Because if you why don't you want to help that person, right? Like, why don't you want to help all women succeed? I don't understand it. And I've had people say that like, oh, I knew they wanted me to say that I was going to bring women along, but I wasn't going to say that. What? I don't
Why
understand.
not?
Why not? If you're talking negatively about the people that you're interacting with in front of other people and they can visibly see this, there's something off. And they're the people that need to take a look in the mirror.
But also think about beyond business circles, right?
But I'm talking about like the moms and when you go to sports
like
and stuff.
PTA mom or sports mom. I can tell you, I remember in elementary school, they called them the PTA mafia. I mean, we had just moved here, and so I'm super sociable. Yeah. I'll talk to anybody, and I felt a little bit like an outcast. And then I was like, I think I'm okay with this because I don't have a poker face, so I can't do this, whatever this is. And then I was friends with a couple of moms who were like the outcasts, I guess we were, but I was more than happy to be a part of their group. But it was just, if you're on the PTA or if you are on a booster for your kid's school and you're leading that and other moms are coming in, you know how hard it is for we're balancing everything. We're working, we've got kids, we've got activities, we've got all this stuff. Like, bring them in. Yeah. Create that tribe. What do you need? How can I help you? And I have been very lucky. I have met some phenomenal women through, my son was in football, my daughter's in theater. I mean, just talk about a really accepting group of people. It has been fun, but I've seen both sides of it too. And I think it's important as a woman to go, am I in a position where I can include other women? Yeah. Let me do that. Right. Let me bring you in. And that's what Girl Me Too is about. I hope some of you were like, Girl Me Too. I went in, PTA was crazy. Who knew?
I've heard nightmares about PTAs and I have no desire. And I have a lot of my friends have kids, and a lot of times I'm like, I don't associate with any of the other kids' parents because they're nuts. They're like PTA obsessed. And, like those are the roads they go down. They're like, I stay far away from that.
Yeah, I mean,
because then you get roped into volunteering for things that you don't want to do.
I tried to do a balance. Like, I would always try to volunteer some, but there are some moms who, especially if they were stay-at-home moms, they were very involved with the PTA. I just couldn't. I was a working mom, so that's not something I could invest my time in as much, but I would try to volunteer here or there. But there was that feeling of, remember Bad Moms, the movie? Yeah. I was like that. And you're like, whoa, calm down. I totally support what you're doing. I'm actually grateful that you have the time to dedicate to these kids in school and that you can run the PTA. I unfortunately cannot. I'm giving you what little bit of time I have because I care about the school and I want to contribute. Yeah. You don't need to alienate me or do any of that. And then, well, you know me. I'm like, okay, whatever. We're not cool. I'm fine with that. I have plenty of people in my life who are great. So so that is the support part of the three pillars. So it was symmetry, support, and then the third pillar is secrecy. Yep. And I think we led into that a little bit. We were talking about if you vent about your friend or something, but when you're friends, you have to have the trust to be unhinged. Absolutely. In your friend circle. And I think about my sister and then a few girlfriends, you're one of them, that I can call and say things like, I need to be petty real quick, or I'm about to be a raging bitch for a minute, and I need you to not judge me for what I'm about to say because I have to get it off my chest, and then I'm going to move on in an appropriate way. And God forbid the group chat is leaked, right? There really needs to be a healthy amount of secrecy in true female friendships to say, yeah, Katie's had the most unhinged stuff in this moment, but recognizing, hey, Katie was having a really bad day that day. Yeah. We know who she is, and that doesn't leave the group chat, that doesn't leave the tribe, that doesn't leave the circle. And so secrecy is really important there too.
I think about a friend of ours that was irritated with her husband and sending a picture next to his mother's urn and saying, oh, that's a spot right there. That's where he's going. And that was amazing.
That's really funny. So you call it the vault, right? The vault is where you sit. And I think that's true too, because women, like, if you're in relationships of any kind, you want to be able to vent to your friends. And it doesn't mean that you don't love your partner, but sometimes you want to choke them. And you want to be able to say, I'm going to be featured on an episode of Snapped if he does not take the trash out and stop leaving it right next to the trash can. It's going to happen. You need to be able to say that to your friends and have them.
And I know this happens on a regular cadence in my house, right? And so he'll go and get something to drink, come and sit down, and all the lights are on and 8 cabinets are open. And I just go like, I point and I look. I'm like, what is happening? Like, that's enough to make me snap. Yeah. And I just don't, I can't comprehend it. And I know he's an only child. So, you know, I know that his family mother has always cleaned up after him. That's just her nature. So, you know, spoiled baby boy. He's getting a little bit better. But I mean, it's been 11 years. Like, get it together, sir.
Yes.
Sorry.
But I also think if you think about too, so there's little things like that. And then there's serious things like, I think people talk about their intimacy, maybe their fertility issues. Like, these are really deep things that you want to be able to chat about in such an unfiltered way to just release it and be emotional and be loose-lipped for a moment in that vault, within that vault of friends who, you know, when you leave here, what you said doesn't leave here. And on top of that, they're not going to gossip. Right. You know what I mean? If anything, they're going to say, hey, have you checked in on Katie today? Because she was like off the chain the other day. I want to make sure she's all right. And vice versa. Like, hey, did anybody reach out to Rebecca? Or I want to make sure she's all right from the conversation. I think that's what happens inside the vault. And you need to look at who are your vault. When you do that symmetry audit, that reciprocity audit, who's in the vault and who isn't? And how do you take care of the friends who were in your vault? How are you showing up as a friend for them too? Yeah. You know, I know mine, I have friends who are long distance. Yep. And so the way one of my friends checks in on me is she's constantly texting. She works night shift too. So I'll wake up
with 95 texts.
Yeah, but then she'll ghost me for like 4 days after that. But she'll plan trips to see me. She's much better about planning a trip. Like, I'm coming down there, or, oh, when are you coming? We're going to plan to get together. She's been much better about that than me. Yeah. But then I'm always like, let me send her and her family a little something. Or, oh, they said they haven't had time to go do this. I'm going to send them a movie night box or something. And so reciprocity doesn't always look identical, but it's there. It's showing love and it's showing care and it's showing investment in your friendship. And it's saying, I'm still here and I'm thinking about you. I just had to yell at you because you show up to my house with a little gift every time. She comes with something every time. And it's like always a little thoughtful thing. And I was like, can you stop coming here with stuff? I don't have anything for you. And like, I'm feeling guilty about it. So
guilty about it.
But there'll be a time where I will reciprocate that maybe later in a different way. But it's funny because I'm like, stop that.
No. So I have a friend that I went to college with, and obviously when we were in college, we were very close. I want to say one of the last houses that I lived in with other people, she was on the first floor. I was on the third floor, and you know, she still lives up in Rhode Island. She's now married, has a son, but her parents, I would say 5 or 6 years ago, maybe 7. I don't, it's been a while, but her parents ended up buying a place in South Florida. So now she comes down at least once a year, so I get to see her. And granted, we remained friends. I was in her wedding in 2013. And I always would go to her house during the holidays because I worked retail up at school and didn't go home. So Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, I'd always go to her parents' house. I was like the adopted child.
Right.
I mean, there was like 40 some people there all the time anyway, so it didn't matter. But you know, she was always the type of friend that was like out of sight, out of mind. But if I was going to Rhode Island or she was going to be in my neck of the woods, always reach out. And I'll always send holiday cards and stuff. But it's funny because I usually don't hear from her. She always wishes me a happy birthday. And then she'll let me know a couple months in advance when she comes down. But I always put it in my calendar and we always hang out. And it's fine. Yeah. You know, we're multiple states away, but we'll be friends till we die, you know, kind of thing. And it's okay. We understand each other. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, no. And it's good to have people all over the country too, because then you get to go travel places.
I have a friend like that too, who I met her almost 20 years ago now. We worked together. We had a friendship and we've kept in touch, but mostly on social media, right? Commenting and sending little messages here or there. But then randomly, I was telling you this, I posted something on social media. I said something that could be interpreted another way that was funny. And she called me and she was like, girl, I know you did not say it. I was like, oh my God. And we hadn't talked in forever. And she just picked up. And then for me, I was like, I just love her. She always stays in my little love box. She's a vault friend. And it's like, even though we don't talk, we don't see each other often. We might only connect on social media. If she needed me, I'd be there because she's one of those types of friends. And you have to recognize who they are and where they are in your life, and that it's okay to have friends like that. You have friends who you get to see every week, like me and I. You have friends that are super close with you that you see maybe once a year. And you have friends that you don't see for a couple of years, but could pick up the phone and talk to them like nothing has ever happened before. And you have to really nurture those friendships. And it actually made me think of something, just kind of circling back when I was talking to you about like your friendship and my best friend's friendship during my mom passing. Yeah. And we're talking about that vault. You can't heal if you have to hide. Right. And so being able to be really vulnerable with your friend group about anything, whether it's your relationship, your career, you've had a loss, maybe you're just not feeling yourself and you're going, I don't know what's going on with me. You want your friends to be able to be a whole person or a broken person with you, so that you can help them to heal and give them a space to feel like, I'm allowed to be imperfect here. I don't have to wear any kind of mask in my vault of friends because they're going to take care of me. They're not going to talk about me, even if it's just venting, or they're going to help me find a resource, or they're just going to show up. I mean, I love when I see those stories of, you know, oh, I just had a baby and they didn't ask. People say, what do you need? What do you need? And they do this during death too, right? Trying to be kind of, tell me if there's anything you need. And you just don't want to ask for it. But those friends that just show up and don't ask to come in, they leave something on your front door and they ring the doorbell. I see the ring doorbell videos all the time. I love you. I know nobody's allowed to see the baby for 30 days, but I brought some diapers and I made a lasagna for you. Yeah. And it's like, that's your tribe. They show up when there's nothing in it for them. Yeah. And they show up without you having to prescribe what to do for them. Right. And I think you should strive to be that kind of friend for the people that you feel that toward. Absolutely. Too, you know, obviously there's layers of friendship, but yeah, for sure. So we talked about 3 pillars of friendship, and the girl me too, right? And the first one is symmetry. Do that audit of reciprocity on yourself and on your friendships, and then decide who to keep, who maybe you need to talk to about enhancing reciprocity, and then who you need to cut. Don't be afraid to take scissors to a relationship that drains you, because that's not healthy either. Nope. And then the second pillar was support, right? And you can have cheerleaders, or you can have advocates, or you can have both. And you just want to make sure that you have a healthy mix of both in your life. And also that you're being both to your circle of friends, so that, you know, people feel cheered on by you. And then also they know you're going to advocate for them in rooms that they're not in. Right. And then the last one was secrecy, which is that vault of friendships, and making sure that you're the kind of friend that keeps the secrets there. You know, you're not the leaky group chat. And don't be the leak. No, don't be the leak. Oh my goodness. You'll be cut real quick if you leak the group chat. Absolutely. Or the madness that's inside of there. So I think look at your group chat and make sure that that's a vault. Make sure that you have those vault friendships as well. And then Rebecca and I wanted to challenge you all in the spirit of this Girl Me Too Day, which is today, April 7th, to do something that we're calling the New Sister Challenge. So with the New Sister Challenge, we encourage you to reach out to a woman that you admire, or maybe you've connected with from afar, but haven't really invested any time into, and invite her out to coffee, dinner, lunch, virtual coffee. Do something like that this week and bring a new sister into your circle. And who knows, maybe she might become a vault friend. Absolutely. Okay, so send a text or a DM now. Don't hesitate or you won't do it. And then if she says yes, you just expanded your village, your tribe, as Rebecca calls it, and hopefully your vault. I think that's it for us today. So happy Me Too Girl Day. And make sure we'll put the links to resources about Me Too Day so that you can really look at who created it, why it was created, and maybe follow up with any actions that you have as well. Bye, everybody. Have a good one.
Follow us on all your socials, NFNA Podcast. Until next time.